There might be a small teaser in this video, although I didn't want there to be a teaser. It was kind of recorded accidentally, but I've gone through the footage and I can't find it anymore. So if you guys see something that you haven't seen before, yeah, that might be coming to Eve Zoo. But let me know down below in the comments if you see it, because I can't find it anymore in the footage. But anyways, hey everyone, my name is Poisonblade. I hope all of you are doing well today. And today we're building that bicycle entrance that I've talked about ever since the beginning of Eve Zoo, because you know, I'm Dutch, so we are going to need a bicycle entrance because we have a bicycle safari in Eve Zoo. But I will also be building something like a green boulevard and a bicycle parking garage. Something like that at least. But hey, before we get started with today's video, don't forget to hit the like button because it does help out a lot with the algorithm. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. And now let's get started with anxiety. No joke, this episode of Eve Zoo, I think every day that I built on it, I was just like, yeah, I need to postpone this video, you know, I'm not going to get it done before, you know, the schedule and before the video needs to go out. So for a long time I was thinking like, maybe I should start on that new area, like the Lakeside area, you know, because I have that is far easier than a build like this. And then I just powered through it and now we've got something. So when it came to the bicycle entrance, it, you know, it needed to be as much like, oh, you know, it needs to be great, but not great enough that it overshadows the main entrance. And then the biggest thing that I always thought about when it came to the bicycle entrance is just, how do I keep people from just ramming through the gates? Because, I mean, it's like, what is it? The stereotype or just like the idea that if you're like a tourist in the Netherlands, you're going to get run over by a bike. Not to mention that most tourists are probably idiots and walk in the bicycle path. That's as much saying like, oh yeah, if you walk in the street, you're going to get run over by a car. Cars rule the place. You're not safe anywhere. Yeah, man, because you're walking in a bicycle path. You know, the road is specifically designed for bicycles and no one else. Yeah. I mean, of course, you shouldn't get run over, but sometimes, you know, read the signs and just the markings on the road that it's not supposed to be a pedestrian road. If it's red, it's usually a bicycle path, and yes, if you don't leave that road, you're going to meet some bicycles. To the face. Anyway, so when it came to the bicycle entrance, it was a little bit of like, how the hell am I going to do this? Because it needs to take the vibe of the main entrance, but sort of mute it down so that it's not like, oh, this is the main entrance. No, you need to see, oh, that's the main entrance and this is the bicycle entrance. I think I still haven't built the gates yet. But then again, it's the idea, at least for tourists in the Netherlands, that you're going to get run over by a bike anyway. Even though you're again in the bicycle path, where you shouldn't be. You could just as easily be walking just straight in the road, or on the highway. Anyways, when it came to the building, I really had this layout already in mind, but then when I tried it, it didn't fit. I had this like sort of more square-ish layout, but yeah, when you build something that has almost no rectangular buildings, a rectangular building will stand out so much just by the way of its shape. Even if you build it very muted, it's, yeah. And for some reason, yeah, I built a roundabout for bicycles. I mean, this has been here basically since the entrance was built, like the main entrance, but I for some reason kept it. Like, I really thought that I was going to change this, but in the end I was just like, yeah, why not? I mean, Eve Zoo is already funky enough. You know, a bicycle roundabout, that's not that strange. Also, what is it where, like, I saw this somewhere, but like Americans are afraid of roundabouts. Is that true? Or are Americans generalizing here probably? I don't know what the Canadians think about roundabouts, but at least that I saw somewhere that people in the USA don't like roundabouts because they don't understand them, and for me they're just like the most easiest thing to understand. I'm really harping on basically everybody who isn't Dutch right now. At least I understand roundabouts. Anyway, so yeah, there's the other thing that I want to talk about when it comes to Eve Zoo, and that is that there's something kind of missing with Eve Zoo. And I think Mike Sheets once said this about just general building, and that is that, don't know if it's Mike Sheets or somebody else, but that a place also needs its calm and, I would say, boring places. And Eve Zoo doesn't really have that, which is kind of a side effect of building a zoo on YouTube, because like you need that like thumbnail and everything. So you need to build like huge or really impressive things. But Eve Zoo doesn't really have its calm places yet. But then of course for a video, that calm places aren't really that interesting. So I might build some like more calm areas in the background, although Lakeside is going to be a very calm area. Now that I think about it, like Capeside. Yeah, we're going to South Africa. No, Poison. But Lakeside is going to be the area where basically all of the aquatic animals are going to be housed. So if you're waiting for like beavers, seals, otters, that's going to be where they are going to be at. And yes, I said otters because we do have the otters like right at the entrance of Eve Zoo. They're going to stay there, but I'm going to change them with the giant otters again, because right now we have the Eurasian otters there, which, as I said, they are tiny for their habitat. So I'm going to take those out, put the giant otters in back again, and build a separate habitat for the Eurasian otters, because they're just too tiny. Like, they are so tiny that they just don't fit into their habitat anymore. They have never really fit into their habitat. So I need to change that. Like, I can put as many animals in there as I want. End of the day, the habitat is just way too large for them, so that you don't see them. Because, they're not crowded together, or at least, when they're in a smaller habitat, you would see them more just because they have less space to shy away into the corners. Also, the habitat is completely not built for them, so they constantly get boxed. Yes. That's no fault of the mod in any sort of way, because I know people are going to say, oh, it's a fault of the mod because it's Eurasian otters a modded animal. No, it's because the habitat was just completely not built for them. I'm going to probably build a separate otter habitat in Lakeside, but I have a lot of ideas for Lakeside as like the new area. I kind of want to blend modern with historical buildings in Lakeside. Lakeside is going to be that like very peaceful park-like vibe, while the rest of Eve Zoo is chaos. It's on fire. Well, not that. Maybe not that. I haven't burnt anything to the ground in Planet Zoo, just for legal reasons, in Planet Zoo, for a long while. Flashbacks to Esden's farm. Fire. Anyway, so I built basically the parking area, or a parking garage, but it's not really a garage. But this is basically if you go to Eve Zoo on your bike, but you don't plan on going on a bike safari, you can just store your bike here, which, you could probably also store or park your bike somewhere outside of Eve Zoo. You're probably going to, need to pay extra to store your bike here, but the upside of storing your bike here or parking your bike, I don't know why I keep saying storing your bike when it's parking, but the upside is your bike is going to be dry. There's probably going to be security, so nobody's going to run off with your bike, which I have the best solution for people running off with your bike. Have such a trashy bike that they don't want it. My bike is literally just like, it's held together with 2 pieces of duct tape basically, but hey, nobody's going to try and steal my bike, because who the fuck wants that bike? Like what is it, like the seating thingy? Don't know what it's called in English, but like what you place your ass on is basically just slowly chipping away. And what's the name for it? All of like the names for like bike things that just kind of just faded into obscurity for me, or faded into the ether. Not reverse, not the. Let's just move on. I made also actual bike storage, I would call it, because it's like a 2-level bike parking thing, rack, something like that. Which, of course, we Dutch people have so many bikes that we need to be inventive about how to park our bikes. Because, holy crap. So I saw this in a video that basically showed the bicycle parking garages in Amsterdam, where they had these like 2-level bike racks thingies. Again, like, names today are just not going to happen. And ever since I saw that, I was just like, yes, I need this for Evesu. I don't really want to build a parking lot, but Evesu is probably going to have it, because Evesu is set in like, I would say 30 years, maybe 40 years into the future, or at least maybe it's set in today's world, but it's like giving off that like 30 years into the future vibe. You know, I think Disney with what is it, Future World, or just their sci-fi area, they kind of did that weirdly, but they did that in like seeing or thinking about like how the world's going to look in 30 years, although that was in like 1970. So Evesu is just looking at the world maybe in 30 years, but it's in the 2000s. I don't think that in 30 years we will have flying cars. But then, isn't technology nowadays like it's constantly like 30 years, 50 years into the future, or 20 years? Like, it's not 100 years into the future. Like, nobody really thinks about 100 years. We're thinking about, oh, what's going to happen in 30 years or 20? Yeah, future is weird. Although I'm still constantly thinking about, is World War 4 or 3 going to go on because we're fighting over Mars or the moon? I can already foresee, like, maybe this is just really pessimistic, but there's going to be wars fought over who gets to claim the moon. We are tutorial greedy bitches. If we can lay claim to an entire planet, we will. I think people have done that in the past. I'm already just thinking like, oh, Space Wars. Maybe I should look up Star Wars and Star Trek and just any sci-fi movie. Well, basically, I think the general consensus is Poison should just watch movies. Although I did watch Encanto, finally. I didn't cry. I was very close to it though. Although the one song that everybody seems to love, I didn't really love. I think it's the We Don't Talk About Bruno song, and I'm just like, I don't love it as much. I mean, it's okay, but I think some other songs in the movie are better, or at least more fun. And anyway, so right now we're building the boulevard, or right now, I don't know, because these voiceovers are never synced in with the visual, so maybe I am way too early when it comes to the boulevard, but the general idea was just green boulevard. Yeah, there was also the thought of like, oh, I need to kind of separate the bicycle part and the actual pedestrian parts. Yeah, that kind of stopped. So if you're a kid and you just run over the place, prepare to get yeeted. Yeah, that was legitimately just the thing that I was thinking about, like, tourists. They are going to walk and forget that there's a bicycle path, or think that it's just a normal walking path and are going to get run over. I don't know what I have against tourists today, but I have never ran over a person on a bike. I have had a collision with a person on a bike, but then the other person was also on a bike, so... No, actually, somebody else, like a friend of me, had a collision with somebody on their bike. They fell over, and I think because I was riding next to that friend, rode over that person's hands. Because you can't, like, it happened so quickly that other person fell to the ground, and I just over their hands. Or did I just stop like right before it and I just felt like the little bump of their hands? I don't know. Yeah, Poison maybe have run somebody over on their bike. Although it wasn't a tourist. So, yeah. Anyway, I should probably say for legal reasons that person was fine. There was a little bit of yelling because, of course, think from both sides. Yes, definitely from both sides. Now that it comes back now, it's like, yeah, there was a lot of yelling. I mean, of course, because, it's a collision and things, nobody thinks it's their fault. I think it was my friend's fault, though. I really think that we were just talking and we weren't paying attention to anyone else. Maybe. But yeah, for legal reasons, everybody was fine. We grumbled or just had that thing where you say you're fine, but you're not really fine about it, and you're just slightly angry about it, so you murmur under your breath about how much of an asshole the other person is. I think it kind of went like that, and I was just shocked all the way through. Anyways, so yeah, the entire idea was just green boulevard, which I'm probably going to extend. I'm using some of the plants that Romano put on the workshop. I first was very excited about his lavender because I wanted those lavender fields and such. But I found this other plant that I liked a lot more, and so now we have this. Yeah, the entire idea was just green boulevard and leave open space. Poison, get it to your head that you never leave open space. You never do that, even if you go into a build with the idea of let's leave open space. You never do that, Poison. You always fill everything with grass. But then I also found Nick is, I think, working on a mod which gives us a lot more grass, which I'm very happy about. Not that kind of grass. I know what you're thinking. Poison is Dutch. He's talking about maybe other kinds of grass. No, bad. I'm talking about regular old grass. I mean, I have no issues with the other kind of grass. Just, it smells kind of funky. That's it. Never really used it or tried it even. I'm not adventurous at all when it comes to partying and such. That's a joke. When have I ever gone partying? The biggest party that I have went to is just hanging out with friends and playing video games and embarrassing myself at Just Dance. That's the biggest thing when it comes to partying. I don't want to leave my house. If I can avoid leaving my house, I will. Although here's the thing that I've kind of grown out of, which is being afraid of calling somebody. I just know if I need to be stern, I need to do it in the morning, because then Old Man Poisonblade comes out, because I'm not a morning person at all, so if I need to be strict, I need to call in the morning. And if I need to be, less strict, I can call any other time. But I've not been afraid of calling anymore. That was a fun thing. And this is, I think, we're getting close to the area where I think the teaser is, but I can't find it in the footage. So maybe you're going to see it, maybe I've got it out, maybe the clip that it's in I didn't use. Whatever the case, there might be a teaser in here. A accidental teaser. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know what the next build actually is going to be, because I really want to move into Lakeside, but I don't feel like the main area of Eve Zoo is ready as well. There's also the thing of there needs to be more sort of boring areas. So I'm there's so many things that I still want to build, but because there's so many things, it's all just what's going to go first? I want to build on Lakeside because I have I want to mix the historic and modern things. I want to build for the Arctic foxes and such, but I also feel I need a change of scenery, and all of the main area of Eve Zoo pretty much looks the same with every habitat, at least when it comes to foliage and such. So maybe I want to go into Lakeside just for one-off build, or not one-off, just for one build to just kind of get it out of my system, and then I can continue on the main area. Maybe I also want to finish the infrastructure of Eve Zoo, because now we have a bicycle entrance, but there's also going to be other things, including a parking lot, which I'm really not looking forward to because I just dislike park. Although here's the weird thing, and I'm probably losing brain cells over this, but I like the smell of gasoline. Yes, I was the weird kid that whenever I was in a parking garage, I would inhale I would just smell, or not smell, that sounds bad, but I would just smell the gasoline and would be kind of happy about it. I thought gasoline smelled nice. I've probably lost brain cells. Maybe that's the reason why I'm the way I am today. Maybe. Although I for some reason dislike riding a car. Or driving a car. Yeah, if I can choose between going on my bike and maybe using public transport or driving a car, I will go for public transport and my bicycle any time of the day. Mostly because in a car there's the potential of it going horribly wrong. And you like when it comes to driving a car, you have all the responsibilities. And when it comes to like, oh, I'm in public transport, I don't have to be responsible about anything. So I can just sit back and just relax. Now that's just my general idea when it comes to public transport. I don't have any responsibility, so I can sit back, relax, and in a car, if I sit back and relax, people are not going to be happy about it. Well, this is not saying that I'm like really tense in a car or anything, but like when it comes to public transport, I can close my eyes. If I do that, or if I do that in a car, people are going to scream. So yeah, I don't sleep on public transport. I can never do that. Like, I can't sleep anywhere else besides a bed. Well, actually that's proven wrong. I've slept in my bureau stool or like my office chair. I don't know why I said bureau stool because that's Dutch, but yeah, office chair in Dutch is bureaustoel. Here's your Dutch word of the day. But yes, when it comes to public transport, I might just be privileged because here in the Netherlands, I would say public transport is quite good. Like, you can get to places faster sometimes with public transport than with a car. And hey, or any kind of like, if you see a bus or a subway or metro and you think like, why aren't they driving a car? You should actually be happy that people are using public transport, because like any bus or any metro that you see is 30 less cars in front of you on the highway. Because every person that could have driven a car now then uses public transport, so every one of those people probably would have been a car in front of you on the highway otherwise. So be happy about people using public transport. And if I hear you at any point saying, public transport is for poor people, yeah, then why aren't you in it? Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. I don't know where that last bit came in, but yeah, don't walk into the bicycle path because you're going to get run over. Well, potentially. Don't shit on public transport because every bus that you see could have potentially been 30 extra cars in front of you. And I might go into Lakeside for the next build just to get that out of my system. Or I'm going to paint myself and build a parking lot. Whatever will come next, we will see. But anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more. Don't forget to also hit the notification button, even though it's as broken as my memory. But then I always had the memory of a goldfish, so can you really call it broken if it was never complete or something? Anyway, have a wonderful day, guys. Bye-bye.
I'm slow.